What is happening, people? Hopefully we're doing all right. A bit of a recap from yesterday. I took a break even and a 1 to 3 on AU in here. Pretty clean entries. I'll do a breakdown for YouTube and for the group, obviously for both of them. My aim with April is to basically break down every trade I take. So I will break both of these down. More importantly, obviously the win, which you guys will be concerned about. But lots to learn from either. So I will do both of them. Dylan also took the sell on EU, which was very, very clean. Just a quick sell to here. There was a buy here. It's just the news that came in here kind of stopped that. So I really do like the entry through this point, which is what we were looking at yesterday. Played out to a T, just unfortunately came at a later time. So let's get into kind of what the go is to today. So off of the take of this point, we have had an internal break. So this kind of does make the market a little bit interesting. We've got this internal break to the upside. And as you can see, we're like at this, if we go on the hourly, we're in between two time frames. It makes sense to come up and take this high as much as it makes sense to kind of melt. I like sells better just because of where the world is and what's happening. But let's work in what we've got on structure. So we've got an internal break. We've then got a decisional. And off of this point, we've got a really, really small, I think it broke first. It did not break first. It actually took that liquidity. So it's in the decisional now, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. So we've got this decisional point that we're obviously, like I said, sitting in now. We've taken the low and kind of disrespected this. So coming into today, buys off of here make a lot of sense. If that doesn't work, we've obviously got the extreme, which sits at this low here. Buys here makes sense. Reason I don't like the decisional, I did like the decisional. We actually had a really, really good inducement here into this move here. I would have been happy to actually take this buy and continue on with that buy. But as you can see, it's just disrespected it entirely. So for me now, the decisional needs to go. Just with what I've got as my rules, this decisional has to go. So taking a buy off of this does make a lot of sense. But like I said, I do want sells. So what I'm actually more inclined to do today, we've got about an hour before open, is I would like to see this come up and take this high. Probably actually take this high into the extreme area. And then I would like to sell into this point. So realistically, I want to see price come up, take this high, come in here, and then sell through that. If I don't get that first, buys will be the go off of that bottom point. You've also got the extreme as well that sits there. So yeah, it's been interesting. But we've taken the retest. We've come into this point of the decisional. Understanding that this medium inducement wasn't sitting in the decisional, so that also holds some value in terms that this decisional doesn't have to hold. We're reacting off a decisional, doesn't have to make a higher high, and we're taking retest and it doesn't have to make a higher high. Only thing that kind of concerns me in that we will make a higher high is we've created a structure cycle out of this point. It is a very shitty structure cycle, but it is a structure cycle nonetheless. Realistically, this decisional itself is actually a lot cleaner than this one. If you jump down to the 5 minute, yes, we have taken liquidity in here to mitigate this area. It's just this is a better pullback, just entirely. So it may use one or the other point, which could be annoying, but it can use one or the other. It just, this makes sense from a standpoint of what we've got on the 15 minute. So I'm going to use that. But this pullback, this take of liquidity is a lot cleaner than this one, but it is, by definition of the rules, it is a decisional. So I will be looking to take a trade out of that. Buys off of here, if you're watching now, do make sense. Like I said, it's just not my time to take a trade. And we haven't medium induced into it because it decided to kind of pull down and do an extra move. So I like sells to buys, but buys long term makes sense there. GU, actually really, really clean move. It came into that decisional, I guess the low of that decisional. We did medium induce into it. We also did medium induce into it this way. And then off of this, let me remove all of this fun stuff in here. We did actually internally break and do the same thing. So what we've got is decisional, which we've now created a point in. We've now pushed up to create an inducement. We're now creating a smart money trap off of here. Basically, if this was in my trading time, I'd be looking for this move here. But what makes more sense is coming to take this low into here and buying, or taking the decisional low and buying off the mitigation of this point. So basically the same situation on GU. Do I want this to hold long term? Absolutely not. But is anything pushing it down? Absolutely not. So because we've got that internal structural cycle that's formed, I've got to follow my rules, and buys make a lot of sense. But as you can see on this higher time frame, I would like to come and sell. I just think it makes a lot more sense. So we'll just see if it wants to do that. If not, it'll want to come up a little bit higher. We are in this entire range. I think it makes a lot more sense to sell, but we obviously won't know until it tells us. We're in the decisional. We haven't even come to the extreme yet. Doesn't have to make a new range off of this. It just can. So we will just follow that until it tells us differently. If you actually look internally on the 1 minute, actually kind of already confirmed this. All you'd be looking for is just an internal break here, and you can set this. So literally, if you're watching, that is a valid trade. Straightforward and simple. As for AU, we reacted off this bigger point. We actually hit that 15-minute point perfectly. It does make sense to give the reaction it has given. Like I've said from the start, I don't like buys. We have got bullish structure. We have come down to the extreme that broke, but we didn't have a structure cycle play out here. I don't like the inducement into mitigation here, so I don't think it holds that much weight either. It did break and retest above this kind of area as well. So there's lots of like more, I guess, in-depth look in here that hold and give this weight. We are now in the decisional of this 15-minute break to the downside. Understanding that is our bigger range. It's just we did form a structure cycle off of it. So I'm going to move away from this point even holding any value. And I would like to sell. But given like the fundamentals of this, it makes sense to kind of push and make a new higher high off this, especially with the liquidity built up. So we have come in to this area. It was a big wick. We have come into it. We are building up that liquidity. Our internal range is simply the same as what it was on GU. Break, retest area here, push up, created no structure cycles. So internal range versus that range there. And they're the two ranges we've got working against each other internally there. So we've kind of just got to work off of that. What we've got here, I would basically want price to kind of pull down and take the edge lows, push up, inducement into mitigation, create that liquidity above my point, and then look to sell down to this area here, take this low, and then kind of see what happens from there. The range that we've created here is garbage, but it fits some type of rules. If we look on a lower time frame, nothing there. We have got this 5-minute point that has been mitigated here. So ideally I want that point mitigated and I'm happy to go. So what I'd be looking for is basically pull down, take advantage of lows, push up, take of liquidity, and then I'd be looking for a smart money trap reaction through that liquidity here to come down to this low here to see if we reverse and push up to the high or to see if we come lower. And then they kind of, that's the options there. So I don't love the big imbalance we've got with no liquidity, but it is building some now around this point right here, which is really, really clean. So one more push down and I'm quite happy to use that. On the DXY, which is kind of the driver of it all, we've come all the way down into the extreme and pushed really quickly up. If we look on the 15-minute in terms of what we've built no ranges at all down here at all. It makes sense to just keep buying. So I would expect at this point here, which is kind of shit and nothing anyway, realistically, the break kind of sits here. It's a retest. We've taken it. It doesn't have to make a new lower low. We've created no structure cycle in this direction. I wouldn't expect this to hold. So what I'd kind of want is basically this through this area, come and take this higher, or at least fill this block in this area here. And that's kind of what I'd be looking at. Yeah, I don't like this move off of this. So expecting that, which kind of lines up with what we're looking at on all those other pairs. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated anyway. Like I said, I want to do a bit more with the education side of the YouTube and stuff. So stay tuned for that. And we can kind of go from there. Any questions, drop them below. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Premium group in the description below. And yeah, we'll kind of get into it. So let's finish the week off strong. It's been a very, very tough week to read price action. A lot of you guys are trading New York. It's like New York's actually kind of been off limits for me, with especially with the random tweets and shit we've got going on. So it's been tough if you can only trade New York. So keep that discipline. We'll see what we can carry through to next week, and I will chat to you guys in the recap on the weekend.